Hi, I'm Cassandra One, and thank you for tuning in to Divine Downloads. This is the show where we help you bring the vision for your life into reality, and this episode is all about honoring the fall equinox. And I have so much to say. We're going to get into the main themes energetically of the equinox and how you can utilize these themes in your rituals and your practice. I'm going to give you some ideas of rituals I love. And at the end, I'm going to pull a card for just some guidance from our guides for those of you who are here listening. So let's dive in. So first of all, let's just talk about how for many lifetimes we have honored the turning of the seasons, and our ancestors were in tune with the changing of the seasons. And when we go back to the original holidays, to the Druid holidays, to the pagan holidays, to the Norse holidays, right, all of them revolve around the crops and the sun and nature and the seasons, because the original religion was really nature, right? Was honoring when the sun would bless us, was honoring when, the spring would blossom, the different energies and the different gifts and blessings of each season. And it was not about any season being better than another season, but just knowing that we as humans are cyclical beings because we're earth beings. And as the earth moves through the seasons, we move through seasons. And I had this kind of epiphany the other day. A few weeks ago, I was in Target grabbing some supplies, and they had already started, it was like August still, and they had already started putting all of their fall decor out. And I was looking at some of it, and I picked up, you can see if you're watching this on YouTube, like those cute little jars that they look like they're like, what does it say? This is like white snake root or whatever. It's like an apothecary jar or whatever. Like some small, cute little Halloween-y fall things, right? And I thought to myself, wow, I remember growing up as a kid, my mom and my grandma would always decorate for the season, both outside and inside the house. So my grandma, I remember, had this long, I forgot what, credenza, maybe I would call it. It was like in the dining room, and it was this long table that she would always have like, some like beautiful tapestry thing over it. And then depending on the season, she would have different things there. So maybe if it was autumn, she would have, a nice like vase with some flowers in it, or she would have like a ceramic she painted of like a pumpkin, and it would all just be symbolic. If it was the summer, it might be sunflowers, right? And my mom did the same thing on our with our kitchen. We had this like kind of fake little window above the sink that just led into like our dining room area. And she still to this day, she always decorates that little windowsill, and it'll be maybe like a glass jar of candy corn and like cute little pumpkins or gourds there. But there's always something that's seasonally there. And I remember growing up thinking like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, you guys, it's just us. It's not like we're entertaining all the time. It's not like a ton of people come over our house. Like, just leave the decorations outdoor. And it really clicked for me a few weeks ago in Target. And I was like, it was never about it being for anyone else. We don't decorate our homes seasonally for other people. We've been decorating it for ourselves since the dawn of time. We've been honoring the seasons in these equinoxes and solstices and Lammas and Mabon and Samhain and these different seasonal holidays, right? And these natural festivals and portals, right? And, now looking back, I see in their own little way, that credenza in the dining room was my grandma's altar to the season. The window in the kitchen is my mother's altar to the season. Now, neither one of them, I don't think, would call it an altar, right? The way I might, or you might, if you're listening to this. But in their own little way, that's how they were honoring it. That's how they were celebrating it. And it mattered to them. It mattered to them because it was important to honor how we shift through the seasons. And I think, why I love the equinoxes and the solstice and the Druid holidays, even more than like new moons and full moons, is because I really feel like there are these incredibly powerful portals. And when we align our energy and our life and get in harmony with the seasons of our hemisphere, right? So if you're not in the northern hemisphere, this, it doesn't apply to you for this season, right? You're not entering the autumn equinox, but applying that, right, connects us back to the earth. Eating seasonal foods, we make fun or make light of, at least, like the pumpkin or pumpkin spice craze, that happens. And again, it's funny because usually it's women that are doing these things, right? Because we were the witches, we were the priestesses, we were holding this space. And we then, it naturally, organically flows from us in being like, you know what, I do want a pumpkin spice latte because I want to do something that's special for this season, right? Yes, you know what, I am going to go to Target and buy the pumpkin spice candle or whatever it is, or a little throw pillow that says hello pumpkin, whatever, right? Like, I'm going to do this because we have a natural, deep, deep divine urge to honor the seasons. And I think so many of us have past lives, where we were, like I said, priestesses or witches or druids or, in some form used to celebrating the seasons, right? That was like the first religion. The first religion was Mother Nature, was honoring and giving thanks for the different gifts of every season. And I think when we take the time to celebrate these moments, whether it's through listening to a podcast like this, whether it's to coming to like a virtual ritual like we're doing with Divinely Design Your Life tomorrow, or watching the replay of it, or finding on YouTube some sort of, autumn equinox meditation or sound bath, whether it's, doing one of the rituals and practices I'm going to suggest in this podcast, it really does help us stay in harmony with the energy of the earth and the energy of life and the current. And I say this about astrology, but it's also about the seasons, where we're naturally wired for growth and expansion. We're on a growth and expansion journey from the second we're born here, right? And so when we line up with that, let's go into like the themes of the autumn equinox specifically. So some of the big themes, I think, for me are, one, I totally just I've been thinking about this all day, and now I'm like, wow, okay, so gratitude is a big one. Gratitude is a big one. Balance, that's the one that was slipping out of my tongue. Balance. And then recalibration or transformation, whichever way you want to go with it. So let's break it down and go through them one by one. We'll hit up gratitude first, because I think and also, I guess I should add to this as well, we're also in a season of the veil being thinner. And we get more and more of that when we get to Samhain or Halloween time, and Day of the Dead and all the different holidays around that time. But this kind of kicks it off. This is the kickoff point here with the autumn equinox that is making that veil thinner, where we have a possibility to tap in more, to connect to loved ones who may have passed, to connect to the psychic realms, to really deepen our connection and be honoring of it. And so utilizing this portal for that, I think it's really beautiful how, in the Mexican culture, they put out photos of their ancestors and create an altar of it, right, with candles and beautiful things. And it's something that we all can do to invite that energy and that communication into our home if that's what we want. On my desk I have my grandma and grandpa. I have in our bedroom my other grandma and grandpa, and I have them out as welcoming energies, right? To say, hey, look over me, connect to me, like let's be together. And if that's a ritual you can do, if you have someone that's passed that you really want, whether you've met them or not. I've never met my grandfathers, but I still would love to welcome in their energy and any guidance and wisdom and unique ways they want to show up for me. This is a beautiful ritual to also open up in this season. So I'll say that we'll do more of that as it gets closer to Samhain and Halloween, but I wanted to definitely give that because this is the portal opening into that energy, right? And then we have gratitude, right? So in the Druid or more of the pagan traditions, there is a holiday right before this called Lammas. And Lammas is like it's the celebration of the crops and the harvest and abundance, right? And so we're honoring this, and then we move into the fall equinox, and there still is that theme of gratitude, right? That gratitude for all we've had, gratitude for all of the wisdom that we have absorbed over the summer, gratitude and honoring everything that we have abundantly that's fueling us and holding us, because that gratitude is going to alchemize the transformation, alchemize the recalibration that we're stepping into, so that we are shifting and up-leveling and transforming from a place of love. So if you think about it, before the leaves fall from the tree, they turn beautiful colors. It's like the earth and nature's way of saying thank you, right? Honoring them as they transition, right? And then go back into the cycle of life, right? Go into the soil and become one with the earth again. And then new leaves form. And similar, as we are also embarking on this theme of recalibration and transformation and stepping into this next part of our life, it's coming from that place of gratitude. It's saying, thank you for all that I've learned. Thank you for all that is accessible to me. Thank you for all the guidance and the wisdom, as well as the earthly support and the abundance and all the resources that I do have, right? And moving into this next era from that space. And one of the metaphors I really like to use for this time of year is like the back to school energy. If you remember growing up when you were, in elementary school or middle school or even high school, right? Oftentimes, everyone goes away for the summer. Maybe you go on vacation with your parents, maybe you go to a camp, maybe you just hang out locally with some friends, but it's like you get out of that kind of school container for the rest of the summer. And then when everybody comes back in September, there's that kind of like new school year, new vibe. Like, what's my first day of school outfit going to be? Am I going to get a new haircut? What's my energy going to be like going into this year? Who am I going to hang out with? What subjects am I going to focus on? Am I going to sign up for this club or whatever it is, right? And it's so wonderful how, there's not a ton of things I feel like in this life made by institutions that are in cycles with the seasons. But I do believe the school year is, honestly. And so it's really nice that we have that boost. And I think a lot of you might be able to relate to even far into adulthood. I still get that kind of like back to school energy in the fall, right? And I know especially people that have kids also, like they feel it probably even more because they're gathering stuff for them. But there is an alchemy that happens when, in the fall, it's the days start getting shorter and the weather is a little bit more crispy, and we move away from the more leisurely, carefree days of summer into all of a sudden I need to get myself in gear. Even if as an adult you work all the way through the year, there's often a different energy to your work in the summer. And then come the fall, when like the leaves start changing and you start feeling a little bit, you know, of the crisp autumn wind, it's like, okay, let's get going, right? I noticed that like for me, the fall is always a time where I like to launch new programs or start something new, because I feel a lot of that like, okay, we've all had our fun this summer, we've all relaxed, we've enjoyed our families, we've hung out with our friends. Now like let's make these last few months of the year count and end on a high note. And I feel that for myself as well. There's a recalibration energy that happens kicking off with this autumn equinox, where we really take that moment to sit down and give gratitude to what we've learned and how we've grown over the summer months, and step into how do we want to end this calendar year, right? Or for a lot of us, and for me included, the autumn feels like the new year, right? It feels, to me, the autumn equinox feels more like the new year than January 1st does, because it's like it's a change of season, it's a change of energy, and it allows us to really step into that next phase of whatever it is. So one of the fun activities, I'll give you two rituals around gratitude, one around gratitude and one around stepping into this recalibration that I really love. So the gratitude one, the most basic thing you can do is just, you know, for the portal of the season, maybe commit to do it from the fall equinox to the winter solstice, of keeping a small gratitude journal of every day. Even if you put a timer on your cell phone for like 1 minute, or maybe you challenge yourself to just write 10 things. It doesn't have to be a crazy undertaking, okay? But be in the energy of gratitude as we move into the winter. And I think gratitude is one of the most underrated spiritual tools, is often written off because we're like, that's so basic, that's so one-on-one, right? But it's such an alchemist. It shifts our vibration, it shifts our mindset, it shifts how we go into the day. And if you can kick off the day and even end the day, if you're really an overachiever, with gratitude, it will totally shift your whole experience of your reality. Another little bit more creative, fun way to practice gratitude is by, I have like this cute little altar box that I use. You could get like a beautiful glass vase. And for this, what I do is I'll take little pieces, like use like little Post-its or something like that, and write things I'm grateful for. I'll kick it off during my autumn equinox ritual, right? And write as many as I can think of and put them in this box. And then I'll put it on my desk or next to my bedside with the pen and the little pad. And every day, just add 3 things to the box. And then the box serves as a way for you to also re-access that power of gratitude when you need it. So if you're having a particularly bad day and you're feeling really funky, or you're feeling really hopeless, or, you know, life happens, right? Something funky happens, you can go to your gratitude box and spend like just 10 minutes reading through some of the things you feel grateful for, and it will help assist you in reactivating those feelings. And it's a beautiful gift to give to yourself. And then if you're doing it from now into the winter solstice, it's also then becomes kind of like the Christmas, the kind of Christmas gifts of the winter solstice, right? Is actually just reading all the things you've been grateful for during that entire time. And it's the Christmas gift for the soul. Like another way of doing that same thing is if you live in a place that has beautiful fall leaves falling down, go on a little walk every day. If you're walking your dog, or, you know, take 5 minutes, walk once around the block. Again, doesn't have to be a huge commitment, and pick a few leaves and write, you know, in marker on those leaves what you're grateful for, and put it in the vase. And little by little, the vase will be full of beautiful leaves. So you could use it as maybe like a decor piece if you have like an entry table, or some place where if you have a family, this is a great activity to get everybody in the household on. I actually hosted Thanksgiving last year and got this little makeshift tree, and it had little leaves that you would stick on the branches that we all wrote what we were grateful on. So if you have kids, it's also a really great activity to get them involved in, and that'll also help you stay accountable. So those are some fun gratitude rituals to do. And another creative ritual that I really like around the recalibration, I know a lot of you have probably heard about vision boards, where you either, on Pinterest or electronically compile a bunch of pictures of what you want to manifest, or, if you're old school like me, you cut them out of magazines and like glue them onto a picture frame. But you can do a next evolution board, right? Or like a new me board. And again, like, think about the new elements of what you are both releasing and what you're stepping into, and imagine almost in that like kind of back to school energy of like, what's my vibe going to be coming into this new season, right? What am I committed to? And you can have so much fun with this. You can put words, on it that are symbolic. You can have pictures. Maybe if one of your intentions is to work out more, maybe have pictures of, someone working out. If you, maybe there is like an aesthetic change you want to make. Maybe you want to wear different colors, or you want to change your hair, right? Those are fun too. Like, it all gets to be on there, and you can put that on there. And maybe you want to remind yourself of different fall rituals you want to do, like pumpkin picking or making apple turnovers or whatever it is, right? Put all of those on there and hang that up either, on your altar, on your desk, on your bedside table. Put it in a place that you'll see daily that will remind you of the you that you're committed to showing up for and showing up as in this portal, in this season, as you're stepping into the becoming. And then the last theme that I think is incredibly important is balance. The equinox literally means equal night. So the day is equal to the night. And we have the light being equal to the dark. So honoring balance in our lives. And also really asking ourselves, where are we out of balance? The beauty of nature and the beauty of astrology and the stars and the energy is that I would venture to guess you already know the answer to this. You probably already know what's not working, where, there's a natural balancing that happens in the fall from summer energy, like coming off summer energy, but not quite winter energy yet, where there was a level of maybe more like buzzing around and relaxing and having fun and all of that, in the summer. And then perhaps you come to the fall and it's a little bit like, okay, let's get a little bit more serious. Let's do work. Let's focus on some goals right now. And it's not about going the whole opposite extreme, because you also have that element of the fall that's like, pull up a cup of tea, read a book by the fire, gather with friends, over some delicious fall baked goods and pumpkin spice lattes or whatever, right? Go pumpkin picking. There are so many balancing activities of the fall as well. And it's really asking, how are you approaching that dynamic? I think especially in our world, we just tend to be more extremists. I definitely will speak to that myself. I'm either like traipsing around Europe, or I'm like working 12 hours, And so it's checking in with ourselves and saying, what does balance look like for me? And there's no right or wrong answer here, but it's investigating that. Like a very basic example that, I've learned over the summer is, going into the summer, I really got into reading different fiction books and like fantasy books that I like. And I haven't ever really been a big fiction reader. I've always been a nonfiction, self-help, business, investing, love reading stuff and learning, but never, since I was young, at least when I was young, I would read fiction, but I haven't been that. So I really got into reading fiction this summer, and I almost exclusively read fiction this summer. And I read it like almost like constantly. It's probably one of my favorite, like, it's my favorite hobbies or my favorite fun time to do. And now coming into fall, it's like balancing that with being like, okay, I'm going to, read Fiction is one of my things that I love to read, like pull up a cup of tea after dinner and sit by my fireplace, or, read before I go to bed or whatnot to help me wind down. And like, it's my probably version of TV or some sort of like relaxing thing. But I'm going to balance that more than I did in the summer season with also the groundedness of fall. That is intuitively guiding me to focus more on certain business things and get some structures in place, right? Because we have to remember that seasonally, when we think about nature and we think about like our ancestors and even go far back as like cavemen, from a natural perspective, fall is preparing us for winter. And so there can be an energy of, what systems do I need to get in place? What do I need to prepare, right? As our bodies intuitively go into a season that is, again, that slows down even more, right? That's really about, can we, especially during that holiday period, take that rest? And how can we set up the systems that we set up in the fall and the new habits that we bring and the recalibration that we step into also helps us go into this, the calendar new year from a totally different place, from an up-leveled place. So honoring that. As far as the balance thing goes, there's a couple of different rituals you can do around this. One is holding two different crystals. This is a fun experience. If you have a light and a dark crystal, so let's say you have a labradorite that's like black, and maybe you have a moonstone, or you have a clear quartz, and you hold them and you actually just feel the energies recalibrating and balancing out, and just meditate on that. And I would, even if you don't have those crystals, meditating on the balance within you. You can even ask your guides to show you, where am I off balance, right? If we're even just looking at, like, let's say a circle that's, cut down the middle and one half is black, one half is white, where is your circle divided, right? And if we think about the black as the yang energy, the more outward energy, the doing, the action, that kind of more traditionally masculine energy, right? And the yin, the white, as that receiving energy, that nourishing energy, that intuitive energy. And we just hold up that. If you often just go into your mind's eye, you can clearly see which one is in balance. I just did that and I was like, okay, yeah. I'm a little bit more yin right now. And just sometimes don't even overthink it. Like, look at it and be like, okay. And then journal on that. Be like, okay, so how does that show up in my day? And that's another great kind of practical ritual to do, is really looking how your day is constructed. If I'm feeling really yang, then my guess is that your day is constructed of like a ton of doing, and not enough things that are bringing you nourishment and pleasure, maybe not enough spiritual practice time, not enough reflection time, and helping to navigate it out. And it's all progress over perfection. I don't believe that there's some elusive, perfect balance. I think we are living things in motion, and it's just constantly tapping into ourselves and asking ourselves where we are on the scales of balance at any given time. And the autumn equinox is that time to check in and ask. So some other simple rituals before we pull our card that I want to share with you. I will write this out in a more cohesive way in my Substack post this week. So if you are someone that's like, okay, I love listening to all this, but I'd really love like a neat sheet with all these kind of written out, check out my Substack. I'll put the link below, and that'll go out probably this Friday, right before the equinox, to kind of remind everyone of these rituals and perhaps any new ones I think up in the interim. So the other things that I think are super fun, we talked about with my mother and my grandmother, kind of almost unconsciously building altars, but we can consciously build altars and deciding, whether we want to do that on the mantle of our fireplace, or we have a table that we want to, maybe in the center of our dining room table. Altars, I think sometimes we have like this vision that like all altars have to look like, super, super witchy, right? For better lack of a word. And while there's nothing wrong with your altar looking very witchy, if that's what you want, it's very on brand for the season anyway. An altar, like I said, like with my grandma and with my mother, an altar can simply be, a beautiful vase with autumn colored flowers, a pumpkin spice candle, maybe an apple. Apples are very symbolic of this time of year. Maybe a pomegranate, right? This is the time of Persephone's trip into the underworld. So pomegranates are also very symbolic of this time of year. Maybe you have some dried leaves that are beautiful, or some pumpkins or gourds you went to pick, right? You can make something beautiful that is an altar to you because it's your remembrance of the season. And then, I also love when it comes to putting crystals in. Like crystals are certain colors for certain reasons. So if we're attracted to certain crystals, that makes sense. Some of the crystals that are going to be cohesive to equinox energy are going to connect to what's going on today? Autumnal, you guys know what I'm trying to say. Autumn colors. If you want to do what I said and, put maybe like a moonstone or, clear quartz and a labradorite, or, something that symbolizes that balance, right? Maybe you have a cool yin yang thing, right, that you want to put there, but something that symbolizes that balance to you. Creating an altar is really about the intention you infuse everything with. So it's asking yourself, what symbolizes this season for you? And what aspects of that symbolism do I want to place in my altar, right? What's connecting me, so that when I look at that throughout the day, it's just a little loving reminder of honoring the season and reminding your conscious and subconsciousness that we are in this season, right? Then the other thing that, we're going to be doing in our Divinely Design Your Life workshop is having a fall intentional candle. I actually made one for myself. And you don't have to make one, but you can just get a candle and you can pick one that already has a scent that you love or a color that really speaks to the fall. You can put a crystal, mine already fell in, but I put a little citrine up here. You can anoint that candle with whatever oil, like maybe some cinnamon or some clove, right? That kind of bring that energy of autumn with you. Or maybe you're really yang right now, and so you really want to welcome in more yin, and you do rose or lavender or chamomile or like a more gentle scent to kind of symbolize what this season is. And a traditional candle burning ritual is, my go-to always. I just love it working with the energy of the fire, because we can then ask, the fire to remove anything that's blocking us, release anything that's no longer serving us. And then we set powerful intentions. I like to just write my intentions out on a little piece of paper, fold it up, place it under the candle, and then we light it when we're in ritual. So whether that is us just meditating and holding our intentions, meditating perhaps maybe after listening to this podcast on all the different themes, maybe you do some journaling, and then you really maybe you do that, recalibration board, and then you hold the vision, you light the candle, and you place the candle on your altar, and you let it burn. You just let it burn through. You don't extinguish it and reignite it. If you need to, if you absolutely need to because you're terrified you're going to burn your house down or something like that, use a plate or a candle topper kind of thing to don't blow it out because blowing it out, it's like shifting the energy, whereas extinguishing it and lighting it again is kind of hitting a pause button and letting it evoke again. So honor that. And but like I said, I always recommend just getting candles that have glass containers, because it just, all my candles, I just buy candles in glass. You can repurpose them as cups or pen holders, but then you don't have to worry about anything burning anything down. So those are a couple of rituals. One last one I want to tell you about before we pull our card. So there's a thing called a simmer pot. And a simmer pot, I really love, especially for autumn, because one, for me, it's kind of reminiscent of a cauldron. But two, I think autumn has the best scents. I think autumn and winter probably have the best scents, in my humble opinion. And so a simmer pot is essentially, you take a big soup pot or stew pot or whatever, put it on the stove, boil some water in it, and start putting in some herbs and spices and fruits of the season. So for fall, you might want to slice up some apples. You might want to put in some cinnamon. Maybe you're feeling called to cloves. Maybe you want to throw some lemon in there, because you want that. Again, it's just like the altar. Everything you put in there is symbolic. So you can put in, and you could also Google, Pinterest. There's tons of simmer pot recipes if you were like, I'm so scared. There's so many different options you can use to get inspiration from. And the thing I like about it is you really can't mess it up. You're not going to drink it. It's not meant for that. It's really an intentional ritual that will smell up your whole home deliciously. And it's a great time for you to, as you're putting the things that you're putting in, you know, symbolically honoring what that means to you. And so, you know, cinnamon can be a protection spice, right? So it's protecting me from outside influences that don't have my highest good in mind. Apples can be, you know, represent immortality and health. So putting those in, health of myself, health of my family. Whether it's, you know, maybe cloves, maybe you're igniting some passion in your life. You want to spice it up. Pomegranates, like symbolizing the strength to be able to like go into the shadows, go into the underworld and emerge. And like I said, it's all about what it matters to you, right? So maybe you want to focus more on your business, and rosemary symbolizes focus, right? So you're going to throw some rosemary in. Maybe you're like, I want to really brighten up my attitude, so I'm going to throw some lemon in there, right? You can have so much fun with it. It's also a great activity, one, for kids, or two, for your girlfriends. Invite some girlfriends over, do an intentional simmer pot ritual, and then you can also use bay leaves. Bay leaves are the go-to for manifestation. So you can write what you're calling in, what you want to manifest on the bay leaves, and then toss it into the simmer pot to, whoa. So you guys, I don't know if you guys saw that. If you're on the video, you saw literally there were like 2 cards that just flew out of the deck. So those are some of my ritual tips. But no matter whether you can gather with friends or you're going to a ritual, find some way to find some time to really honor this season with you. And I think having something, even if it's something really small, like a fall scented candle or a picture of, you know, a fall landscape, or a little one of those cute little baby pumpkins you can get at the grocery store or something like that, as just a reminder to you of what the season is and what it means. Okay, so we got 2 cards. 2 cards want to come up for this equinox and all this energy. So the one is the 8 of Gabriel, and I just love this picture. For those of you who are listening in, it is literally the angel, an angel flying with long flowy hair and a long dress, and all of these different birds surrounding her. And it's all about a great deal of activity, sudden and immediate results, and communication. So for this, I I really feel like this is about honoring that it might feel like a really steep curve of a ramp up from going for maybe more relaxed summer vibes to all of a sudden so much coming in and from all directions and all different ways. And to really, one, expect to see immediate results from your intentions, expect to see immediate results from, be in that energy of like, it gets to be easy, it gets to happen for me. I am really powerful, I'm calling this in, and don't be surprised when a lot of stuff comes in. And then I think the communication is really just reminding that even if we feel overwhelmed or we feel like we have a lot going on, that communication is really key. We can just come back, let people know, hey, I'm super excited to do this. This week's not going to work for me. Can we do next week? I'm really looking forward to it, right? We can get a lot of inflow, and then we also get to step into our power and be master communicators of negotiating, what works for us. And hey, oh, you want me to do X, Y, and Z? Well, I can't do X, Y, and Z, but what would feel good to do is A, B, and C, right? So use your communication skills if you feel like you're getting overwhelmed, if you feel like you can't handle all the results and blessings that are coming to you. And I'll just add in that, keep in that gratitude for it, keep in that gratitude, and know that this is flowing to you because you can handle it, and this harvest and these blessings are meant for you. So just keep on coming back to yourself, keep on breathing, keep on finding that balance, and keep on communicating about what you need and how if they're all things you want to say yes to, how you can maybe shift certain things so that that yes really aligns for you. This is the Queen of Ariel. And it is like a queen with an angel behind her and a beautiful, like a chandelier and all these flowers. And there is a beautiful, it's funny because we just talked about this. There's like a table, like altar behind it. And she's got a little tree there that looks like it has like roses and fruits and different things on it. It says, nurture yourself and those you love. The ability to make anything more beautiful. Practical and wise advice. Oof. So to me, this is a huge affirmation of honor the decorating of your home, honor the ways you want to, symbolically own this equinox portal, and also honor that next evolution of you that's peeping through. Honor the transformation, and you get to make those, this to me sounds like there may be certain things that you want to beautify in your life. You want to make your home more beautiful. Maybe you want to make your style, in your opinion, more beautiful. Maybe there are little nuances of how you want to add that gift, and know that that is a gift. Making something beautiful is a gift, and taking that extra time where maybe you would have in the past thought that was frivolous, to spend a day reorganizing your bookshelf, or to, decorate, or to even, spend some time really thinking about the new style you're stepping into, or if you want to get a haircut, or even just changing up your website or something, right? There's so many ways, and trusting that oftentimes vibrational shifts also manifest in those aesthetically pleasing ways. So just trust the flow of that and honor it, and make sure to, I think it's so funny how the theme, one of the themes is balance. And here we get these two cards, right? We get not one like I was aiming for, but two cards. One that's like, all these things are happening. Sudden results are happening, right? Communicate. And then another card that's like, nurture yourself, take care of yourself, take time to make things more beautiful. And so I think it's reminding us of that duality as well, to dance with the things that will be moving, the things that will be shifting. And also don't forget to take that time to nurture yourself, to be with your loved ones, and to, honor those, little ways that we want to make our life more beautiful or more pleasant, and enjoying the little things in life, and not getting so caught up in all the excitement. I feel like there's going to be a lot of good momentum for career here, right? But again, stepping up to that challenge of balance. Anyway, I hope that this podcast has been helpful for you. I hope you got some great insights. If you are thinking of joining us in Divinely Design Your Life, the process, there's a link below. We will be having our gathering, and then we'll be doing a ritual for the autumn equinox and talking even more in depth about it. You can check that out. As well as I do have 2 exciting new offerings. I am now offering a la carte sessions. So if you want to work one-on-one with me, I have 90-minute clarity and momentum sessions where we literally dive in on an area where you feel blocked or stuck. We call on your guides. We ask for the wisdom. We let what flows through. Sometimes we're going to be clearing fear blocks. I give you a mixture of both the practical and the magical, where we talk about what you need to shift energetically and giving you the tools to do that, as well as what is a practical roadmap for your next steps. And then, of course, we end by pulling some angel cards and giving you some guidance to go on your way. So if you're curious about that, I'll put the link below as well. And last but not least, I am so excited about my Creative Hours offering. It is once a week on Wednesdays right now, where we get together and it's 90 minutes long, and we, as a group of creators, are writing books, writing screenplays, writing novels, working on podcast content, working on creative content. And it's really a time to be surrounded by other creatives and held accountable for showing up for that thing that probably keeps getting pushed to the bottom of your to-do list, but that is really on the top of your soul. So if that's something that you need to find balance on with this fall equinox, about giving everyone else your time and not having any time for the projects that are really important to your heart, check out that link. I would love to see you in Creative Hours. I look forward to Wednesdays every week because it's just such it's so juicy, and we've only been doing it for 3 weeks. It's ongoing. You can join whenever. And already all of us were saying this morning that we see so much momentum just from, doing those 90 minutes once a week. And it's just incredible. So if that sounds like it resonates with you, check it out. I hope to see you. Thanks again for listening. I love that you're here and I appreciate you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for leaving 5-star reviews. It's super appreciated. Thank you for sharing this podcast with people that you love and that you think would love it. It means the world to me. So happy Autumn Equinox.